Everybody, thanks for tuning in to All Things Division III Soccer with Simple Coach and Jackie. I am Simple Coach, and Jackie, you might be able to see mulling around on the ground. She's awake, wandering, doing her thing. Yeah, she's still kicking. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Wanted to do this week's women's top 25s. Before the week came out. Today is Wednesday the 16th. There are some great games going on today. So just so you know, this ranking is based off of results that were played as of Sunday. So the games that happened either Monday, Tuesday, or today aren't part of the equation. They'll be part of the next one. So, and I know that there's some really critical games that are going on. But you know, at some point I have to cut it off. Otherwise, I'll never get these things out. So, I had been asked, and I do this, I should do it a lot more, right? It seems probably that, all my focus is on these top 25s, but there's also a bunch of teams that, probably another 10 to 15 that I watch that have intrigued me for a whole host of reasons that I just don't think are top 25 material, but I track them, I watch them when I can. And so I'm going to run an episode, do another round D3 or something where I'm actually going to call those out. And I think I have maybe, let me see, 13. So I have 13 teams that I sort of track beyond these that are part of the top 25. So just so that you know that I'm really trying to look beyond the relatively small universe of the top 25s. Not to mention all the other games I watch, but for the purposes of the rankings, they're probably look at maybe 40 teams that I sort of keep in my mind, like, oh, this team is good. Are they worth being top 25 materials? So be on the lookout for that. Probably, I might do that this weekend since I got nothing really going on. And let's see. So for this week's rankings, for its week 6, some interesting things. First of all, in the top 13, there was no movement. They won all their games, which is remarkable. You usually don't see that. And like I said, we're getting at a juncture where there are some games that are monumental games for some of these teams. So you might be seeing changes. But as of this week, 13 of those teams remain the same. I dropped Brandeis after their loss to WashU. Not that I'm surprised that WashU won, but I just didn't think Brandeis is up to that level yet. And like I said, I just sort of dropped them out, but I replaced them with, I watched a while back against William Smith of Hobart and Smith. And then I watched their game against, I think it was RPI. And so I added Skidmore to the top 25, and we'll run through those. So with that, I'm going to blaze through this again. Not a lot of movement. I don't put a lot of weight in the rankings yet. So there she is. You could see she just goes into corners. And you want to say hi? Yeah, poor girl's just getting old. So, all right. So let's start with the top 25. You want to do that, girl? You want to go with the top 25? All right. So at 25, Williams 6-4-2. They're down 3 spots. They had 1-0 losses to both Wesleyan and MIT, which 2 great teams. So, but yeah, they're still top 25. At 24, what I mentioned earlier, at 8-2, Skidmore, they had wins against Vassar and RPI, And then previously, I think probably one of their more notable games was the tie against William Smith. So at 23, down 6 to 8-2-2, McDaniel. They tied F&M and then they lost to Mary Washington. So losing games now has consequences. Unlike at the beginning of the season where you could see, rust and dust is being knocked off. But now I have higher expectations. So, okay, at 8-3-1 in 22nd spot, Wisconsin Lacrosse. They tied Platteville and then beat Whitewater. They are up 2 spots from last week. In 21st spot, down 5, really taking a hit. At 7-1-4, Case Western. That drop is a result of losing to Emory. So, speaking of, in 20th at 8-2-1, Emory, big win against Case, and then they beat Maryville 4-0, and they, as a result, are up 3 spots. So, in 19th, Cal Lutheran, the defending national champions, still hanging around, still doing it. 9-0-4. They beat Whittier and the Redlands, University of the Redlands. So they keep cranking it. At 18, 8-2-2. University of Paywall. Yes, indeed. University of Rochester down 4 spots. They beat RIT, which was good. Then they lost to Carnegie Mellon, and I thought that was a big test for them. So, and obviously came on the wrong end. So they're down 4 spots from 14th. At 17, 9-0-2, Rowan, the Profs. They beat William Patterson. They are down 2 spots, but that's a condition largely of some of the moves that have happened that I think warrant some people to jump over them. So, as an example, 7-0-5 Middlebury in 16th. They beat Plymouth, and they tied Colby and Babson. They're up 3 spots. So, 15th spot, Wesleyan, 9-0-2. Since tying Amherst, they've beat Trinity and Williams, and next up is Bowdoin this weekend. Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain's school. They are up 5 spots. And then up 4 spots in 14th at 8-0-4, NYU. They tied Case, and then they beat Chicago. This weekend is huge game against Wash U on Saturday. So I'd definitely be tuning into that one. So we're now going to say goodbye. We're now going to the top 13, the ones that haven't moved. I'm going to blaze through these. At 13, Johns Hopkins 8-1-3. They had wins against Washington and Gettysburg. They do face Swarthmore and a midweek, and then F&M at home. So should be a pretty good weekend. In 12th, Washington and Lee. 9-1, they beat Everett and Roanoke by a combined score of 9-0. So they're getting goals. There's something happening there in Leesville. At 11th, 11-1-1, MIT. They had 3 wins against Wheaton, Springfield, and Williams. So really, they're doing what they're doing. So in 9th at 8-1-3. In 10th at 10-1-1, Misericordia. They had a 9-0 win against FDU Madison. So in 9th, 8-1-3, Messiah. They beat DeSalle and Hood. Next up is Gettysburg and York. So let's see if they can keep it rolling. 8th, 9-1-2. One of my favorites, Pomona Pitzer. They beat Laverne They face Cal Lutheran next. Laverne again. I guess they double up on games. Laverne again. Cal Lutheran again. Chapman, who they lost 1-0 at the end of September. Then they end the season with Claremont Mudd Scripps, who they beat 2-0 earlier this month. So they got quite the schedule to wrap it up. In eighth, at 8-2-1, the Jumbos of Tufts. Seventh. I'm just struggling today. The Jumbos of Tufts, 8-2-1. They beat Regis, then Bates. They do run the gauntlet next at Amherst on the yesterday. Then host Middlebury. It's a big week for them. In sixth, at undefeatable 12-0, Loris, the Dewhawks. They play Wartburg on yesterday. So and then Simpson. So I'm not going to comment on games that they just played. So now our top five song remains the same. 10-0-2, College of New Jersey. They beat Ramapo, and next up they face the Rutgers, Camden and Newark. So at number 4, 9-0-3, Carnegie Mellon. They beat U of Paywall, and they have Emory up next. At third, 7-0-3, Amherst. They had wins against Western New England. Next up, big match against Tufts, then away at Hamilton. So, there's going to be movement next week, because you could tell. We'll watch, they're all tie, and so. At number 2, again, no change, 11-0-1. Christopher Newport keeps rolling along. Southern Virginia and Mary Washington are the latest victims. Up next, Roanoke, and then Battle of Battles right here, Washington and Lee. That's gonna be huge. And then finally, at number 1, again, no change, 13-0-1, Wash U. They are like that runaway tank on a road that no one can stop. Their next up is NYU at home, so that's still going to be a huge match for them. But the way they look, the way they play, I'm serious. Like, you should watch them if you get a chance. They look determined, purposeful, strong, with a mission. So with that, number 1, Wash U, the song remains the same. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this episode, this top 25 rankings. By all means, these are opinions, not fact. Feel free to post down below, and let me know your thoughts. And be on the lookout for an episode of Around E3 here in the next couple days, which I'll probably do, like I said, to run through those other teams that I watch. But otherwise, hope you're enjoying the games. Season is getting shorter. Weather's getting cooler. So hope you're enjoying some of the round ball. So, all right, on behalf of me or Jackie and I, thank you. We'll talk soon.